You've heard of Black Wall Street, but what they don't tell you is it wasn't the only one. There were thriving black communities across America. Rosewood, Wilmington, Ocoee, all burned, all erased. These towns had schools, businesses, banks, and they were self-sufficient. That's what made them dangerous. Mobs didn't just riot, they murdered. And history, it buried the evidence. This wasn't random, it was systematic. And you were never meant to know.
And this is why I work hard to remind you guys in the Black community that attacking each other is not going to help you guys grow. First, they attacked you guys and then turned you guys against each other so that you can die as a community, so that there are no more you. But there are people that showed up for you in the Black community to say that they're going to stand by you, to fight against the bullies that were fighting against you as a Black community. So this message is not to make you racist against the white people in this country. There are so many white people in this country, maybe not as many as the white supremacists, that saw things clear and decided to not stand by their fellow whites because they knew they were wrong in their racism and decided to fight with the blacks. And this is why I'm telling you, whenever you meet white people that come to be a solution, we don't want you to look at these old videos and become hateful, but try to hear them out. Try to understand that at the end of the day, they brought you to this country. And if Africa was so great and so much better, you guys wouldn't be in Africa. You are now citizens of the country. They brought you here. You can't just go back to, even if you're Black, you can't just go back to Africa and say you're African. And it doesn't matter if you're Black. They won't allow you. You don't have a property. You're not a citizen of Africa. So you would have to marry someone. You would have to join with someone that is a part of the African culture for them to allow you to build. So you have no choice but to work with the white people that are willing to work with you guys, right? And then the Spanish communities that come to try to be the anchor, right, between the communities, because the Spanish people came to try to be an anchor. Spanish people understand you as a Black community better because they've been poor. Not saying that white people have never been poor. Before white people were rich, they were poor, right? But once they became wealthy, they probably a lot of them forgot about poverty, but it's the new generation that were born into wealth. Those are the ones that don't understand the hard struggle that a white man went through, the poverty, the life that he had to live before he had Black people. I'm telling you, these people had to, once they realized they could not be in the sun long enough, they could not work, they didn't even have sunscreen. I want you guys to get deeper into that. That's where my heart is. You understand? It's not that I don't love you guys. It's not that I don't care. This is why I'm saying I'm caught in the middle of two people, and I don't want to be caught in that middle. I want you to understand that I'm married to a white guy. I'm in love with a white person. That's not something that I chose. That's something that the universe chose for me. Not only that, he loved me first, right? When he loved me, I loved him back. I tried to love a Black man, but the more you start beating up the person that saved my life, the more I'm like, okay, well, you're wrong. The thing is, I want to educate you because I'm smarter and bigger than fighting with you or fighting against you. So let's try to educate you and see if you are willing to learn. If you're not willing to learn or listen, no one's going to want to work with you, right? So where I live, there are white people and there's majority white people. There are Spanish people. But, we walk in peace. We don't walk at war with each other. You know what I mean? So because that battle is over, but it's up to you if you want that battle to end, right? And maybe there might be white people that don't want me to build. It's not that white people don't want you to build. They want you to understand the battle before you start building. They want you to understand their cry before you start building your empire, because the goal is not to take over the country. The goal is to work with the country, to work with the people that built this country so they can have a home, because you guys have Africa. But now that you're here, Africa is no longer your home. So the goal is, I feel like if I was the queen of Africa, I would say, you guys, Africa will always belong to you. You get what I mean? Because as long as you're black, you will always be African. I will never deny you to live in Africa, right? But how will you live in Africa if you don't have citizenship? You have to get citizenship there. That's not something, so if I was a ruler, I would be like, okay, Africa will always be your home. If you're willing to build, we're willing to work with you and give you something. But you have to come in peace. African people worked with British white people. We made deals with British white people. Regardless to their mistakes, we had no choice but to learn how to work as a team. That's what I'm saying. It starts with you. Whenever other black people come to your community and you make fun of them and you call them African booty scratchers. These African booty scratchers are the ones that died for you to be an African American in this country. So making fun of Africans and making fun of their naps and their hairs and calling them poor is not the best way to go. Because white people are seeing if you can't work with Africans, but they were able to go through that struggle with Africans to be where we are today, how can you work with them? Bringing this up is important, but making it like never forget. No, we understand, but forgive and forget and rebuild. Because one thing I've seen is white people know how to work with each other, and they know how, and the smart ones know how to work with other black people, right? The system was built so that this country is not taken away from the whites by blacks. This is why Black Wall Street was burned down. They were being overpopulated. They were becoming smart. And when they became smart, they were not intelligently united with the whites. So the whites felt like, no, this is not what we want. They're starting to build and get smart, and they're going to be leaders, and they're going to take over. And then where are we going to go? So the goal is to work as a team. Not by abandoning black people, but rebuilding, and black funding is important. I will always push that. If I'm going to be a queen and a leader, I'm not going to build my own empire. I'm going to make sure every black person in America that is poor, because if you're rich, then you should be giving. Why should I give you as a rich person if you already have the wealth? But the poor there should be special funding for them because of what happened to them. There should be special funding for veterans. Special homes, white veterans, right? Also, the white people that were that I feel like the white people that were that went into the black communities and loved them, they deserve funding too. I believe so. Why? Because they helped us. They helped us. And then their lives were also at risk when they gave up their white community. They will always, even if they will always have that white privilege, there's a lot of them that still were abused and beaten. And I saw it, and crying. And once they went to blacks, they couldn't go back to their white neighborhoods because they say you already picked a side. But at least they had the heart to love with each other. But I still feel like, because I still care about them, I still don't want them to be abandoned, right? But one thing I don't want is to take away the resources from the black people that really need them. I don't want to take away the resources from the white people that really need them as well, right?